What's up, everybody? It's another Tuesday night date night, and I am just one bird, the Philly sports guy, Jamie, just here, and I am on my 18th day of face paint, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna just definitely. You have to excuse me for just a second as I share this back out to everybody because I am by myself today, which is a little, it was tough for her to do it last week by herself. This week, it's going to, like I said, it's me by myself for the moment. Maybe Goose will show up a little bit later. Uh, but you know what? That's why I wanted to make sure that I could kind of talk to you guys and such. Uh, because, I mean, I've had an interesting go of it the last week or so. Obviously, I've been raising money for the Eagles Autism, which is why you guys are seeing me in face paint. What's up, Sean? Good to see you. I appreciate you coming on. Come by. So literally, I am on a day 18 of 22 days of face paint, and I'll be dead honest with you guys. I can't wait for it to end. It's like it's been. It's good because I'm raising money, and it's for such a good cause. So I really do appreciate that part. But it sucks being in this shit all the time, and it sucks being in it all the time right now. I know. I made my own bed. I'm gonna lie in it here, but you know, being a single guy and having this on your face, everybody thinks, "Oh wow, you probably get lots of, you know, girls coming up and talking to you." No, I get a lot of pictures taken, and then they go run off and do whatever because guys, a whole bunch of shit on my face. It is what it is, you know. But it doesn't work the way I kind of expect it to, or that you would expect it to. And because of that, it makes things a little bit more challenging in the long run. If you're going to be, I'm a single guy, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But raising money for charity and then stuff like that. And then, okay, how do I get this off? How quickly can I get it off? Without having to go home, because once I go home, I'm like dead. I'm like exhausted. I'm ready to shower and go to bed. So it becomes a challenge one way or another, all the way around. But that doesn't mean that I don't talk to a lot of people. I mean, interestingly enough, I'm on a few dating apps, and it amazes me how many people that I will actually swipe right to you and connect and don't talk to. Some people you just don't know, like, because obviously when you're looking at a dating site, are you reading? Are you actually paying attention to what's happening, or are you just swiping left or right just based off of looks, or like I try to, you know, if I don't see somebody's face in any of the pictures, I swipe left. Obviously, I gotta see the face. Um, if I see more animals in the pictures than I do of you or people, I definitely swipe left. Because obviously it's uh, you don't want a relationship. You want a substitute for your cats. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's cat people are funny to me because literally they have a relationship with their cats. They're not trying to have a relationship with anybody else because nobody can ever do what the cats do for them. That's why there's cat ladies. That's why there's cat people. You know what I mean? I am not a cat person. You know what I mean? I can get the fact that a cat can kind of take care of itself, but I'm just not. I'd have to have one of those cats that actually knew how to, go to the bathroom and the toilet. I don't care that it don't flush. You know what I mean? I'll just work it out. You know what I mean? I'll flush when I need to flush it. But quite literally, I ain't a cat guy. I ain't even really a dog guy either, although I have a dog. You know what I mean? Lily. And she's like 9 years old now, and she's not going to be around much longer, I don't think. Or that she could be around for like another 8 years because that dog's a lazy dog. But I don't know. You know what I mean? The I lost where I was saying my train of thought with that. But that's the reason why cat people are, because they don't want a relationship. They don't want a relationship. They want to be able to just date, their cats. You know, so I'm interested in dating cats. You know what I mean? I like to see people. I like to date people, and it's so hard because it's like, the dating app is like the bar when you're meeting somebody at the bar. That's why you don't want to meet somebody at the bar because you feel like it never goes anywhere. But truth of the matter is that's how you meet people anymore because, I was always a firm believer. Me personally was always a firm believer that you always wound up having the best relationships when you met a friend of a friend. Because ultimately, the friend of the friend is the way that would occur. Like you have somebody that and you get to see their friend, and they're going to speak highly of you in the first place, and blah blah blah. But not when somebody sets you up on a date, because when somebody wants to set you up on one of those blind dates and stuff like that, or like, hey, I want you to meet this girl or meet this guy, it never works out the way it's supposed to. You know, so I'm a firm believer of, yeah, maybe not. But I'm sorry. But so I'm on these dating apps, and I have been, I have actually started having a conversation with a couple of people. You know what I mean? And it's a hot Eagles fan, a hot lady Eagles fan that has 5 cats. Yeah, there's not many that are going to be doing that. You know, and to be honest, so a lot of the time I do not date sports fans. As funny as that sounds, I don't. Um, I want it easier, and the problem with having a date as the Philly sports guy is that they need to try to match me, and I don't want them to match me. They can't match me, and that's part of the problem. You know what I mean? That's where it start to fail, because you can't date me and the Eagles. You know what I mean? And or I can't date you and the Eagles at the same time. And when I'm doing my thing, when I'm the Philly sports guy at a game, there's a certain level of comfort that a date would need that I can't provide. You know what I mean? And that's really hard. That's really hard to do in a lot of different ways. Um, I'm sorry, I'm sharing this out a little bit here. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I apologize for just one more minute. I'm just throwing this out there. Bam. Maybe more people show up. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Bam, bam. So, but like I said, it's not easy dating me. Although, I mean, I feel like I'm a good guy. I feel like that I do a lot of things great. It's just that you're always having a little bit of a competition that you may not want to have, and it's not with another person. So it becomes a lot harder. I mean, I was explaining to somebody today that I want to be able to. I was thinking about keeping a clicker in my hand or something to see how many pictures I take in the course of a game. Because once I go into a football game, it's literally 4 steps, picture, picture, 4 steps, picture, 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 picture. 4 more steps, picture. Get to walk somewhere, stop, picture, 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 and I love it. I love it. So don't get me wrong. This is. I ask for it because when you dress this way, they want to take a picture with you. It's exciting for people. You know what I mean, to do that, and I understand that. You know what I mean. I get it. There's a reason why I do it. You know what I mean. I enjoy taking the pictures. So, but if you are going to a game with me, that gets annoying. It gets really annoying. And ultimately, because you're the one that's going to be asked to hold and take the picture. You know what I mean? So there's a catch to that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just don't want to. Sometimes you just don't want to. You don't like the way that the the person came up to me and wanted to take the picture. You know what I mean? Or you don't want to take that picture. There's a lot of different reasons on why that could absolutely happen. And when you get to that point, like it's like, all right, well, obviously you don't want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? And now I have to stop being what I'm being because I have to be boyfriend. So, and I don't have the ability to do that because this is work. And at least that's the only way I can explain it in a way that makes sense. Is that like it's work? But exactly. Exactly. License plate Joe knows exactly what it is that I am talking about. You you do it and you can't help it. You can't help it. And you can't turn anybody down. It's not like I'm this great whatever. If they want to take a picture with me, I want them to take a picture with me. I enjoy that part. And license plate Joe, I know him. You know what I mean? So he knows exactly what it is that I'm talking about. You don't get to go. There are times you get to enjoy the game, and your enjoyment of the game is so. The best word is to use is fanatical. Is that everybody likes to watch the game? So I get it. I completely get it. But not everybody that you date is going to get that. Now, I don't know if license plate Joe is married. You know what I mean? And if he is married, I can imagine that it is in a different like manner. You know what I mean? It's just it's she's not she's a Giants fan because he's a Giants fan, but she could care less. Because I feel like that's what I would need. I need somebody who cares less. I can't have somebody who's a fan of another team, though. I had kids with a Dallas Cowboys fan. You know what I mean? I won't ever. I know better now. I know better now. I have some beautiful kids. And they are not sports fans. But they are not sports fans because it became like a conflict. And funny, as funny as that sounds, you know, my ex, when the when the Cowboys would win, she wouldn't banter with me like a normal person would. She would feel bad for me. She'd be like, "I feel bad for you that you don't get to cheer." I'm like, listen, don't patronize me. I ain't interested in hearing your patron. You know. I just couldn't take her type of banter. You know what I mean? That's what I got to. You know what I mean? If you want to banter back and forth with me, I can enjoy that. You know what I mean? But don't like pity me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going. I'm not. That just makes me angry. You know what I mean? Don't pity me because I don't care about the loss. I don't care that we lost the game. They don't pay me enough money. But you know, she would do that, and it would be a conflict, and because of that conflict, my kids don't like sports, and it's all been. We were both Flyers fans, And actually, the kids probably like the Flyers more than anything else. So, I mean, just when you express the love for a game, the kid is naturally going to do that. When there is a conflict within that love, the kids are going to feel that conflict too. And that's what happens. And that's exactly what happens. But I I'm all right with that though. You know what I mean? Like it's like all right. So we couldn't. Sorry, I scratched my leg and I got a little. It's bleeding a little bit. I got blood on my hands and trying to clean it up some. And oh, I'm a mess here. But anyways, I so the fact that they're not. I mean, he tried to tell me one time he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboys fan. He tried to actually create some type of bridge and says, "Hey, I'm going to be on mom's side." And I'm like, okay, you live in Philly, so we're going to have this conversation now. I'm going to tell all of your friends that you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. Well, of course, Amanda got crazy. She was like, whoa, 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 you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, yes, I can. He lives in Philadelphia. He's he needs to know now what it's going to be like being a Dallas Cowboys fan. You got to be able to handle it. Like you got so Dallas Cowboy fans as children growing up have attitudes in general. You have to have that certain want to be, you know, you want the conflict. And that's what happens. That's as you grow up, that's what fandom really becomes. It's the conflict between uh, attitudes and children. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. It's you're you follow the group or you're not going to follow the group and now you're going to as a point of hey I'm going to like something much different than you. There's nothing wrong with that, but I thought they were going to play darts behind me here. You going to play darts behind me or no? You can. I'll move down some. It would actually be fun to watch. They're not going to play darts behind me. Bummer. Anyways, so literally, that's the reason why. He told me that. I said, I'm going to tell all your friends. He then decided he didn't like football. So, no, he doesn't like football. And my daughter does everything that my son does. I played a lot of street hockey, Danny. Literally, I played a lot of street hockey. It's one of the things that happens. I still have my street hockey stick, and I consider all the time going out and playing deck hockey. Like I think that I would actually still be pretty good at it. And those are things that you don't really like. That's like riding a bike, even though I've never, I don't ride bikes because I can't ride a bike. But that's beside the point. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I loved street hockey, and that's what I grew up with. So, but if he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, that's because one, it's bad parenting. Obviously the parents didn't say, "Hey, listen, this is what you need to do." You're gonna wind up doing that because you want to create the conflict. It's there's no rhyme or reason for you to do that. Yeah, you can like whatever you want. You can't help what you like. You know what I mean? I guess that's the real of it. But truth of the matter is that if you have no ties to Dallas and you're just doing it to go against everybody else, then that's that's on you. I mean, right? Am I right or am I right? I mean, you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. Hey, so listen, everybody sees that, if you go from the HTTPS all the way over, you can come on the show. So feel free to come on and talk with me. I mean, I'm sitting here at the bar. Actually, the bar is actually a little bit busy tonight. I want to say there are probably an extra guy or two in comparison to the women that are here. Because his dad punished him. That actually says a lot because that shows a defiance. I'm going to defy my father. I'm going to do that because I don't like him for the moment. It's interesting. You know what I mean? I guess when you think about it like that, it's interesting, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I never was as frustrated with my father to the point where I needed to bring that, go against him in such a way. Although my father was a Jets fan, so that didn't really cut it either. But so as I keep on thinking and talking, I'm thinking about like in the world of COVID, what is considered a good date anymore? Like, you going out to dinner? Are you able to enjoy dinner when you do it? Are you able to go out and actually enjoy a dinner with somebody? Or is it like a quick drink at a bar somewhere? Is it going to somebody's house to see if you can get past the first conversation? And I guess a woman can't really do that in a way that's going to be acceptable, I guess. You know what I mean? A woman's going to have a harder time with that. But I mean, that's kind of what I would think. Like, what constitutes a good date anymore? And I feel like it's so ridiculous for me to have to actually have this conversation, and I'm painted up like this. But when I'm doing it for charity, and that's part of what it is. And the fact that Crystal's not here tonight is again another thing of what it is. And the fact that Sean didn't show up again tonight. Sean didn't show up because he's got his daughters tonight, and they were having a difficult time trying to get them to sleep. I can understand that too. You know what I mean? Bryce Harper just hits a home run, so I'm all right with that. You know what I mean? So life is good so far. But that being said, it's I enjoy being able to kind of have these types of conversations and being able to kind of talk about all this type of stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what I would do as a good date. Like, what would be considered a good date? Somebody I know tonight is going out line dancing, country line dancing. Now, I am not very country, just not very country. That being said, I don't know. I guess I am. I got cowboy boots. I have a cowboy hat. I could go fake it because how hard is it? You know what I mean? It's country line dancing is in a line, right? So you get to see what the other guy's doing. Is that how that works? I don't know. It's been a while since I've had country line dancing like that, so or watched it even. Uh-oh. But Anyways, but what would be considered a good date? I mean, I personally, movies put me to sleep. So when I go to a movie, I feel like I'm too afraid that I might fall asleep. I used to go, when we're talking about line dancing, I am a big fan of movements. So like if you're going to go on a date, moving is something worthwhile. I don't like sitting in there and actually dinner because then I feel like dinner is way too formal. For a first date, I would rather do like a uh, ice cream. Like going to get ice cream for a first date seems like a great date. I mean, it's a little too like way traditional, but if you're doing a meet and greet, like if you want to get beyond, because that's the hard part now. That's the hard part with these dating apps is that you want to have a conversation with somebody and then you want to go figure out like if it's going to work or not, but you don't really get the chance to actually go on a real date. You either have to go on a date or you go to meet each other and you have to make all the decision there. You know Dating is like an interview, like a job interview, and you got to deal with it the exact same way. So like when you go on that job interview, you know what I mean, or that dating, that first date, you want it to be fast. You want to both leave there wanting more because that makes you both want to go back and actually try at it again, to actually go and actually find out whether you want to see each other a second time, whether you want to be able to have another conversation. There are certain things that happen when you meet somebody for the first time. You get to see where the chemistry is really working or not. Because you can talk and anybody can be a smooth talker, or you can get a certain feeling and a mental thought process in your head about somebody by talking to them. But that doesn't mean that when you see them, you're going to have the same feelings. You know what I mean? Normally, like right now, they said, you look at me and I'm like, I am not really much to look at in terms of somebody you'd want to date right this very second. I don't take a shower and I do my hair up a little bit and I actually put on different clothes and I actually act a little bit of a different way. And all of a sudden, I'm a little bit more desirable. Not much, but a little bit. And that is part of, you know, just the ins and outs of trying to find somebody. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I what it comes down to is that I would much rather have a quick date for my first date. If I'm trying to do things right and appropriate, so if I'm not trying to sleep with somebody on the first night, the only way to do that is to end the night with that person quickly. They said so, and only because I want them to want me more. You know what I mean? I want them to think, spend the rest of the night thinking about me. Let me spend the rest of the night thinking about you. The hard part is that we're such a society now of automatic gratification. We want that gratification now that it becomes hard to do that. You can't just say no, I don't want to see you. You know what I mean? Like I got to get away right this second because I can't seem to do it. You know what I mean? You want more, you want more, you want more, you want more. And then next thing you know, it's not just no longer like a you know, going to go get some ice cream or going to go get a cup of coffee and calling it the night. You know what I mean? Like I want a meaningful interaction, but I want that interaction to be brief so that there is the want for more. And, and I feel like that's part of some of the challenges of dating in general because you if you go and 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 you go a million miles an hour, you run out of stuff. The thing is that you know people are not that exciting, so they run out of things to talk about. I mean, I know that I have thousands of different things that I could talk about. There's all different facets of my life that you know would keep a psychologist busy for a many years, like a doctorate, it could be a doctorate thesis on the many faces of the Philly sports guy. And you know, everybody else has got the same exact situation going on. So it's always going to be tough. It's always going to be tough. But people run out of things to talk about because they get lazy. They don't want to talk anymore. So, Danny, why don't you come on? You're married. Why don't you come on? I mean, me personally, I am on right now. I think realistically, 3 dating apps. And out of those 3 apps, I probably talk to the one on Facebook the most. Mostly because it's Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook, so it makes it a lot easier. Facebook dating is a thing. And I purposely don't show my face. It's all painted pictures. You see this of me. And I do it purposely actually because it gives them something more to talk about. They're like, you know, every picture of you is got face paint on. Oh, does it? I don't even realize. I didn't even choose the picture, so I don't even know what pictures are there. You know what I mean? It automatically did it. Um, gotcha, Danny. Wife and baby are sleeping. I can appreciate that. So, uh, it makes it a little bit harder, but you have to be intrigued because this is a big part of me, obviously. I mean, like I said, right now I'm going through 22 days of face paint, so it's literally I can't wait to get out of this face paint. And of course I'm doing the show in the face paint. Next week I will not be in face paint, so I am so excited about the fact that I don't have to be in face paint next Tuesday. But uh, I don't know. By making every picture on face paint, I feel that it actually gives them one a full idea on what it is that I do for a living. And it takes a minute to get used to because I mean I got to get used to it. Even me, it's like I am like, hey, I'm the clown. You know what I mean? I'm dressing up like a clown for sports. I get the joke. You got to get the joke. But it's like living theater, I guess. That's all it is. I get to cosplay professional sports. There could be worse professions, and I'm good at it. And it always comes back to a matter of time. How much time am I going to have for them? And some of the thought processes with that is that if I'm going to have the time for you, you have to understand that my work schedule is unique. Because when I'm working or when a guy is working, you wouldn't be bothering him then most of the time. I mean, there's some women that do, and I'm not talking about those women that need to have, communication with their guy 24/7 because they don't trust. It's more about the trust. It's more about the if you don't have to, like, you text for only important things. Like, obviously it's got to be something that's fairly important to talk to your husband or your wife while they're working. And if you work a 9 to 5 job Monday through Friday, and then I work a job from Saturday and Sunday, it doesn't quite work that right. It doesn't quite work right. So I have to just. Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Anyways, so what I'm saying is that, like, my work hours are funny and require me to get painted up like this, and where it looks like entertainment, it's actually considered work, and that's the hard part about that. So it makes it a very unique situation to have, because it always seems like you're having a good time at work, and which is what it has exactly happening. You know what I mean? That is exactly happening. However, if you're not there, it makes you feel like you're being left out, and that's the hard part with a relationship, is that where does that line get in the sand get drawn? Like, when does somebody understand that you're going to sometimes be happy doing what you do without somebody else? It's hard. It's not easy to do, and you have to keep, you have to do it. So, like, if you want a relationship to withstand, you have to do it a specific way. You know what I mean? You have to work at it in many different ways. You know what? I'm going to show some of the, because I feel like I'm talking on some of the points of dating that I got from the videos. So, yeah, let's start with this one. I think it's this one. I'm going to give it a shot in the dark and think it's that one.
Seeing potential in him and him actually rising to that potential are two completely different things. There's this quote by Elizabeth Gilbert, which I have to read to you because I think it could really help. She said, "I have a tendency to not only see the best in everyone, but to assume that everyone is emotionally capable of reaching his highest potential. I have fallen in love more times than I care to count, with the highest potential of a man, rather than with the man himself. And I have hung on to the relationship for a long time, sometimes far too long, waiting for the man to ascend to his own greatness. Many times in romance, I have been a victim of my own optimism. Every person on earth has potential, but not everyone is capable of reaching their highest potential, and you certainly can't make them. They have to choose it for themselves."
So, yeah, I agree with that. It's when you get to a certain age, though, you don't run into those problems anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you should learn that there's a lot more that happens than not. I appreciate that. So I have your daughter's a fan. I can appreciate that, Danny. Thank you. So I'm playing all the deep ones early because I want to be able to get beyond it. But what happened there? There we go. This was another deep one. I thought I'm just going to play it.
I used to think the worst thing in life was to end up all alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel all alone.
I never felt so alone, it felt so alone, I know.
So I don't know that was one of his best ones. He happens to have a number. Like that guy's got the really deep voice. He's like, yeah, I just, the one thing, like, he's always got these like deep sayings he's got to come up with, I guess, or have read from somebody else. So it's not the easiest to do all the time, but he seems to do it okay. So I did like this chick. This was something I saw, so I thought this was kind of funny. Dating as we grow older.
Cats or dogs? Beach or mountain? Hot or cold? No, you're hot. So, what are your triggers and traumas? How did your parents fuck up in raising you? How self-aware are you of these things? How willingly do you take responsibility for your own bullshit? And how much do you project onto your partner? Oh, and what's your favorite color?
That was part one. Part two grows it a little bit further.
Hi. So I only have 45 minutes before my ex-husband drops off our kids, who, by the way, are not coping well with change, so I can only date in secret. How well adjusted are your kids? I'm so sorry. Have you had your midlife crisis yet? How certain are you of your sexuality now? How young is your secretary? Do you leave the toilet seat up? All right, let's fuck.
There you go. I like that chick. What's up, Carter? Yeah, that chick is definitely, she's cracked me up when I was watching those things. It was a good rendition of what it's like dating as you get older, and some of the questions that you got to have. That's why I don't like to do dinner, because I want to ask those questions half-half. You know what I mean? So this was a deep one. This one comes from friends, so I'm going to play this one real fast.
You gotta give me another chance.
No.
Hey, come on, look, I know how you must...
No, you don't, Ross. Imagine the worst things you think about yourself. Now, how would you feel if the one person that you trusted the most in the world not only thinks them too, but actually uses them as reasons not to be with you?
And I played that one because I feel like everybody has had one of those. Like you started dating somebody and they started to use you against you. I mean, I feel like that happens a lot. Where they think they want you, but really they want someone, and you really don't fit the bill, but they're trying to fit the square peg in the round hole. So I don't know, not necessarily exactly how you expect it, but I mean, it's you can't help what you like, and that's the problem. You have to start to like things better. You have to like better things. That's why I like to start slow, because if you rush right into it, things don't ever seem to work. So, all right, I'm gonna play this one. I don't remember what this one was, but it was good enough to make the list, so I'm gonna play it.
The reason why most men don't date the woman they like isn't because those women are out of their league, but because they don't know how to communicate in a way that makes them seem confident. Today, we're gonna change that, because I'm gonna give you an acronym that's gonna transform the way you communicate with women forever. ADHD. A stands for assumptive. For example, instead of saying, What do you think about going out for drinks later? Say instead, let's go out for drinks later. Should I pick you up at 7 or 8? D stands for direct. Instead of, maybe we should grab drinks later, say instead, I want to take you out for drinks. H stands for honest. Instead of trying to use some clever pickup line to approach a woman, just be real. Hey, I feel a little nervous saying this, but I just had to approach you because I think that you're really attractive. The last letter is D, and it stands for dominant. Dominant is not the same as domineering. Dominant is another word for influential. So when you're communicating, asking yourself, what's in it for her? For example, instead of saying, it would be nice to go out later for drinks, say instead, we're gonna have so much fun together later.
No, I don't know about any of that. I mean, I understand, and it shows she's talking about confidence, and I mean, I guess you better have some confidence if you want to start to talk to a woman, and be like, hey, we're going to have a blast, and once you've got them saying yes, you don't need them. You don't go out of your way to try to make them say no in a different way. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I feel like she's talking about there. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking with somebody, it's like when you ask somebody. I mean, when you are more assertive as a male, you're going to get further in the conversation. The problem with nowadays is that women like to also feel very assertive. So if you are talking to a woman who doesn't want to feel, doesn't want you to be assertive, she wants to be the assertive one, she's going to assert herself out of the situation. You know what I mean? And that's part of the problem with that. So like that's part of what the issue with what she's talking about. Because when the girl asserts herself out of that situation, your confidence becomes less likely to do that again, because you can't go up and talk to somebody like that you're expecting that they're going to automatically say yes. And that's what she's assuming there, that they are going to say yes with what they're talking, with what you're about to say. Because if they're going to say no, they're going to say, get the frig out of here. What the hell are you talking about? And that's the end of that. You know what I mean? Like I said, this goes back to the time where we're talking about. You're only on the court one time. You only get one last second shot. You know what I mean? Or you get one shot and you could do really well or you could miss. You know what I mean? And normally, if you miss, you leave the court. That's why I say so. That's why I was saying, me personally, I want to make it so that I have always opportunity to get back on the court. And that's part of the hard part. Let's see who texted me. Wow, I'm getting it all over the place. All over the place today. But anyways, so last one is my girl, Emily. Emily King, I think is her name. She's always on the guy's side, so this one's more neutral.
One non-negotiable that I highly recommend that you have before committing to a serious relationship. Agreeing that disagreements are bound to happen, but that what you have together is stronger than that. You decide together that you value the relationship more than one person being right or winning.
That is actually a good one, because if you can set that bar quickly within a relationship, you will be able to keep that relationship a lot further. I mean, it's a matter of affirming, and this is something that has to be learned in a relationship. You have to learn to do this. You have to affirm the honesty of the relationship. And the problem is that you have to be honest about it. So if you are continually being honest your partner, that relationship is going to be a much more fruitful relationship. I don't necessarily mean it's going to be a successful relationship, but it will be a more fruitful relationship. You will get more out of each other due to being honest than you will by trying to coerce that out of somebody. And that's the hard part about, that's again, that's another hard part. Relationships are all hard. You know what I mean? There's all hard parts. Starting my own dating game show. Yeah, the problem with having my own dating show is that, one, I feel that I can tell people certain things, and you have the opportunity to listen to me or not. You know what I mean? It's all up to you. Yeah, she's sick today. She was throwing up. So, anyways, but like, you have the opportunity to listen to me or not. I figure that most people aren't listening to me. I'm just trying to share my situation so that people would be able to gather kind of what's going on. Yeah, she's gone. So that's why there ain't nobody in here tonight. Without Crystal, we got nothing. But so, but either way, like I said, it's been. If you're going to be honest with somebody and you're going to affirm that honesty with another person, then you're going to have a good relationship, and that's what it's really all about. That's what somebody else wants. They want you to be honest. When you start to cheat on somebody, it's not the cheating that's the problem. It's the lie about the cheating. You've lied to them about the fact that you say that you're being faithful. And that's where the relationship starts to go awry. If you said, listen, I am trying to, I am considering sleeping with somebody else because I've got a problem, or I just feel like I want to go sleep with somebody else, at least it would give them the opportunity to be able to decide on whether they want you to do that or not. And if they can solve that problem a different way. But realistically, when you're throwing that amount of honesty to them, there is a repercussion that comes from that. Like, there's obviously, when you throw the stone in the middle of the pond of water, it starts to ripple, obviously. So there's going to be ripples that have to get dealt with. And when they respond to you in a way that's questioning you, like, why are you doing this? Why is it that I am not enough? Why is it that you feel that you need to go out of your way to go sleep with somebody else? You become defensive, and you're like, well, now it's you that's making me kind of do this because it's you. It's the way I feel when I am with you. When the truth of the matter is that you just want to go sleep with somebody else, and most of the time, when you go sleep with somebody else, you're not really interested in being with that person. You just want to sleep with them and go, and you want to go back to your feeling relationship with the person that you are with. Most of the time. You know what I mean? That's why people stay in relationships after being cheated upon. You know what I mean? Because the truth of the matter is they just needed something different. They needed to switch it up a little bit. And when if you're going to be monogamous in the very true sense of the word, then you need to make sure that you're very happy with the choice that you've made. I'm not saying that that people in this world cannot be monogamous. That's not absolutely not what I'm talking about. But you have to be able to be on it. You know what I mean? You have to be on it. And I wound up having, I got cut off of Twitch, so no Twitch people are here anymore. Like I said, once you get to that point where you're telling them, and they get to make their own decisions on how they want to deal with it, and that's what will ultimately keep a relationship right or wrong. You know what I mean? I've always been very secretive on how I want to spend my nights. If I'm going out to the bar, am I going out to the bar? And like when I would come home, I would call stopping at the bar working. I was still working when I stopped at the bar because I needed to stop at the bar so that I could change my attitude from talking to employees to going home to a family. You know what I mean? The problem is that you go to the bar, you have a shot or two, you get a beer or two, you eat dinner, and you go to sleep because you're exhausted. You know what I mean? And, it doesn't leave much for the guy who's coming home every day. You know what I mean? Because everything is expected from the guy all the time. Guy goes out to work. Now the wife goes out to work now as well, so it's not just the same all the time. But you better be prepared for what it is that you want. Kids make it hard. It's tough. You start compromising your life for that type of stuff. So it is what it is. That's why you have kids. Kids are great. But and that all being said, it's not. It's all part of the equation. So you have to know what it is that you want, because otherwise, on occasion, you're going to look for what you want somewhere else. And when you find it, that's when you start to cheat. And if you don't want to cheat, now you got a dilemma. Just my 2 cents. In the meantime, though, I've spoken for just about an hour now. Yeah. She used that as an excuse. There was other reasons. How would I react if a girl left you in the middle of dinner, first date, because he was not vaccinated? There was other reasons. Vaccination was the easiest reason for her to come up with. That's simple. As far as I'm concerned, that's simple answer. Women are. If she was really interested, it wouldn't matter if he had, 6 needles coming out of his arms. If she was interested, she'd be there. You know what I mean? She said, "Oh no, can't do it. You're not vaccinated." Get the frig out of here. That's such bullshit. That is such bullshit. Just my thing. So I would say for him, good riddance. Good riddance, because it's not going to get any better from that. I've been on a date where the first thing that the girl said to me, literally, we get to the dinner table, and the first thing she said to me is that my mohawk is annoying. and starts talking to me about how we could fix it.
I was a little bit shocked at first because I was like, I never would have thought that. But okay.
You kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nope. But I don't know. I just whatever. That date. I'll tell you the craziness about that date specifically. That date happened on Championship Sunday. That's right, the AFC and the NFC Championship Sunday. And I went on a date with this broad. Sorry for all the women out there that I'm calling this girl a broad. The first thing that she says to me is that my mohawk is annoying. And I don't have it standing up like this. I actually have it down and, pushed to a side or something like that. Like it actually is done, not necessarily sticking up in the air. And I don't have face paint, so. And that's the first thing that she says to me. She had a lot more to say, trust me. But yeah, she was looking for money and it was odd. It was odd. An interesting first date, to say the least. And I still talk to her on occasion, so it's not like I'm, but I decided that I was not going to date her, and she was okay with that decision. So we didn't really talk about it in any other way, shape, or form. She tried to be friends with me. Yeah, we talk on occasion. She asks me about some of the guys that she dates, and she dates the same type of guy every time, hoping that she's going to land the big fish. And most of the time, those big fish are not swimming in that small pond. But that's life. Anyways, I've spoken for more than an hour now. I think I'm going to call it a night. Because I tell you, it is harder to do a show when you're by yourself. It is a lot easier when you do have somebody to sort of go back and forth with. So, and I know that she had a hard time last week. So I was able to get through an hour this week. Next Tuesday night, it'll be another date night. And we'll have a good time then. So everybody, have a great night. You will see me. This is the last time you've seen me with face paint in a minute. You're not going to see me again in face paint after Saturday or after Sunday, really. But you guys have a great night. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. And we will see you next Tuesday night on Two Birds. Good night, everybody.